As we've discussed before, since the beginning of our experience with COVID-19 2+ years ago, developing and providing effective vaccines has been a cornerstone of the effort to protect us against this virus. The first vaccines became available in December 2020, and throughout 2021, vaccines gradually were approved for almost all age groups. The one group that has still been waiting has been our youngest children, those less than 5 years of age, and now that appears likely to change. On Wednesday, the Vaccine Advisory Committee to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration voted unanimously to recommend approval of Pfizer's application for a vaccine for those ages 6 months through 4 years old, and Moderna's application for a vaccine for those ages 6 months through 5 years old. Next, FDA leadership is expected to issue its approval. On Friday and Saturday, the CDC Advisory Committee will meet to make recommendations for the vaccine's uses. The CDC director must then approve the committee's recommendations. Although we, of course, do not yet know what the CDC will recommend, typically, the CDC has acted in concert with the FDA. In anticipation of this, Ohio's enrolled vaccine providers have begun placing orders for these vaccines, and the first deliveries are expected on Monday. The state has a robust network of vaccine providers, so parents will have many options to access these shots. Providers, including pediatricians, family physicians, hospitals, pharmacies, local health departments, and federally qualified health centers are in that mix. Now, I know that some parents have been eagerly waiting for this approval. The FDA had scheduled a meeting in February to consider Pfizer's application for this age group before postponing the meeting to await further data from clinical trials. The fact that this process has taken some time is a reaffirmation of the seriousness and the scientific discipline of our approval process, and a reassurance that the approval has not been rushed or based on incomplete data. The Pfizer vaccine for this age group is a 3-shot series. The second dose can be taken 3 weeks after the first, and the third dose 2 months after the second. Each dose contains 1/10 the amount of vaccine that is included in the adult dose. The Moderna vaccine is a 2-shot series, and the second dose can be administered at least 4 weeks after the first. Each dose contains 1/4 of the adult dose. Now, the time appears to have arrived, and parents, of course, can start by consulting their child's physician or other professional provider who will be best able to advise parents about this vaccine. For some parents, the timing may coincide with their child seeing their pediatrician or family physician before the start of the school or preschool year. And perhaps the COVID-19 vaccine can be administered as a part of updating their child's overall vaccine series. Now, I'd like to emphasize how important it is for children to stay up to date with all of their recommended vaccines. And of course, some vaccines are required in order to attend Ohio schools. Now, vaccines protect us against preventable, communicable diseases. In recent years, a slight drop in vaccination rates among our children has led to several outbreaks, like measles, that again are vaccine preventable illnesses. Vaccines for our children include shots for hepatitis A and B, diphtheria, tetanus, and pertussis in a vaccine known as the DTaP vaccine, measles, mumps, and rubella known as MMR, varicella, which is also known as chickenpox, and meningitis. Now, It's true that statistically, at least, COVID-19 has had a less severe overall impact on our youngest children when compared with other age groups. Children from birth through 4 years old comprise about 6% of our population nationally, but have accounted for about 3.3% of overall cases. They also are underrepresented in the rate of hospitalizations and deaths. Nevertheless, nationwide, there have still been about 2.5 million COVID-19 cases in babies and toddlers, and tragically, nearly 450 deaths among those less than age 5. Now, in Ohio, 79,000 cases have been reported in this age group, with about 1,500 hospitalizations and tragically 10 deaths. So it's important to remember that our youngest children can still fall seriously ill with this virus.